Howdy, TzuDevil here, and welcome to the first match in a three-match series with me and Zardar, Total Warrior. We're going to play against the Empire in the first match, the Greenskins, and against the Beastmen with our beloved Dwarfs. And if you haven't seen Zardar's channel, go over and check him out. He's a great channel. He does lots of really good content, legendary campaigns, online battles, and cinematic battles set to music. It's really fun. He does a great job on his channel. So in our first battle against the Empire, brought a bit of a different army here. The meta has really been lately brought forward for Empire to have the Balthasar Gelt with Final Transmutation and two Witch Hunters with Accusation. So I did a bit of a different build for this. I'll start with my leadership actually. So with my Rune Lord, I actually brought him on his mount with the Locust of Power. So that gives a plus 15% magic resistance. And with that magic resistance, his magic resistance is up to 55%. So he's very, very strong against that type of build. I also brought a much lower level army. So I brought the Rune of Hearth and Home, which makes low-level troops immune to psychology, and of course I brought the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune. But I also brought a Master Engineer, which is, I thought it'd be really fun to see if I could make him work. So what I did for him is I brought, of course, Ballistics Calibration, 30% accuracy, and plus 20 reload skill within 40-meter range, but I also brought this Rune of Slowness. So anyone around our Master Engineer will have a minus 12% speed and minus 8% charge bonus just for fun. And of course he has armor piercing missiles and armor piercing melee damage. And last but not least, I brought a Thane. And with this Thane I brought the Tormentor Sword, so a 9-second hex where enemies are within 30 meters of you. You cannot move, and a minus 26 melee attack. It recharges every 90 seconds. I got him Foe Seeker in case I had to catch up to anybody. And I also got him the Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard. Again, plus 5 melee attack for anyone who's around, but also plus 4 leadership. Because I do have a very low level front line. I don't have any Longbeards, I don't think, for this matchup. So my front line, I've got Dwarf Warriors. I've got some Dwarf Warriors on the side, so I brought 5 with 1 Chevron. In the front and on both sides, and right behind my edges I brought miners with blasting charges so they get their blasting charges off on both sides. And in the back line I just brought regular slayers and the dragonback slayers, so in case he has cav it can come in and slow them down as well. And I brought a unit of regular rangers on both edges, one with 2 chevrons and one with none, just because of the amount of gold that I had. And I also brought 2 organ guns. So the organ guns are meant for any of his heavy troops, his cav, these types of thing. So what he brought for his army is on his wide flanks he's got 2 units of Reichsguard, I think. Yep, Reichsguard. And in here he's got 2 Outriders with grenade launchers, and I definitely didn't see these guys. For his main army, really it is focused on the leadership. He's got Balthasar Gelt with Final Transmutation, a Witch Hunter with Accusation, of course. He's got an Empire Captain just to come in and kick the snot out of people, and another Witch Hunter with Accusation. His front line, with this much cav, it's hard to get a really strong front line, but he brought 3 units of Great Swords, which really is the right units. They're strong against the Daoi. He brought some Flagellants, Sigmar's Sons, Swordsman, and the Tattersouls. So we'll get this playing, and I think I moved my moving my army up here. So I will probably just fast forward it a little bit until we get a little bit closer. Okay, so maybe I'll fast forward a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to start shooting. I just let them shoot at these Sigmar's Sons just because. And I was planning on shooting these Reichsguard on the left flank, and I do want to shoot at these Great Swords. It has a bit of a bug where it seems to be shooting the corners of units rather than the front of the units. I'm not too sure why. I'll give this a bit of a fast forward. So as his units are getting into position, I'm going to let my Rangers shoot his Reichsguard. I do have my Dwarf Warriors and Slayers on both sides ready, so I'm going to bring my Rangers up here as well. And he has actually cast that Final Transmutation on my Rune Lord now. Yeah, there it is. It's upgraded. It's like 26, 23 winds of magic, and it is going to do almost nothing to him with that 55 magic resistance. So it's very, very good. I've got my organ guns now shooting at these Reichsguard and my Rangers. I'm just going to, those organ guns are going to do a job on them, and I think I'm going to turn these organ guns over here eventually. I just wanted to take a couple more shots at these greatswords because I know they're going to be a problem. I am getting my blasting charges off on these flagellants and off on the Tattersouls here, and it does a fantastic job on that front line. The Reichsguard are trying to outflank me, so these greatswords are going to be a real serious problem. I don't notice them right away coming around the edge, so I'm going to have to send my Dwarf Warriors and my Miners into them, but they're all done with their blasting charges, and I've got to send my Dragonback Slayers over to these Reichsguard because they're going to get into my Rangers for sure. I did get a shot with the organ gun into these greatswords, and I've got my Thane into the front line fighting. I think I'm going to send him after this Witch Hunter. Let's see if we can get a shot of him, giving him a shot in the back. And I've got my organ gun still shooting at these Reichsguard, so I'm going to do a number on those. I've got my other organ gun shooting at these greatswords. I did try and pull my Dwarf Warriors aside so I could get some good shots, and you can see it is really devastating. I do hit some of my own troops, but I do manage to rout them. Now I'm getting my Rangers back to try and get them back from this charge, and I'm going to send my Dwarf Warriors and my Dragonback Slayers after these Reichsguard. He is going to be able to bring some of those guys into our back line. He's got the Reichsguard here. Greatsword Reichsguard. I did get the Tormentor Sword on him, so I brought my Thane over, got the Tormentor Sword on these Reichsguard, brought in my Slayers to try and kill them off as quickly as I could, and yeah, with minus 26 melee attack and the inability to move, we are able to rout those guys off. And I've got, I don't know who I got this organ gun shooting at, but I think I put them after these Swordmasters. So Sigmar's Sons and Great Swords have broken through our front line, so I'm going to send our Rune Lord in, and I believe I'm going to send our Master Engineer in. I'm going to try and get as many shots as I can. I don't notice this Dwarf Warrior off to this side yet. I'm trying to get my Rangers to shoot at these Outriders. They don't have any armor, so I know I can take them down very fast, but he's all over the place into my line. He's routed my Dwarf Warriors and these Miners on this side, and we now have troops kind of going everywhere, so I'm going to try and get my Dwarf Warriors in here against these Greatswords. It is a bad matchup for the Dwarf Warriors, but I got to do something. I've got some Slayers in here against Greatswords, which is a horrible matchup. The Tattersoul is not bad in the Thane, but I've just got to hold this flank and try and keep these guys shooting. Unfortunately, he gets his Reichsguard in here to stop these Rangers, and he's almost got these Rangers routed. I am trying to shoot them down, and I'm trying to get my units in here to get these Sigmar's Sons off the battlefield so I can get my other organ gun up, but I think he gets both of my organ guns, and there's not really much I can do. He does bring his Outriders in to try and get some more shots. This is really hectic battle. Running all over the place to try and do something, but it's really hard to deal with these Outriders once your Rangers are gone. So he's got these Rangers tied up with these Outriders too, so I can't shoot, I can't do anything. I've locked down his Witch Hunter and his Empire Captain here with Dragonback Slayers, which is a good engagement for me, and these Miners with blasting charges. I'm gonna send my Master Engineer to shoot his Witch Hunter, I think. We'll see if he gets a shot in. Nope, he misses, of course. With our Master Engineer. Our Slayers here fighting against the Tattersouls. These Great Swords have just demolished my organ gun, and they're beating up my Dwarf Warriors as well. I keep trying to get my Rangers out of the way so I can shoot at these Outriders, because the Outriders are quite devastating against especially Slayers or Dwarf Warriors and these types of things. Now we all have people coming back, people routing. It's just a fight to try and get everyone used as quickly as I can, but I got these Dwarf Warriors sitting here just taking shots. Okay, I finally noticed that. We're going to send them up against the Outriders just to try and push them off, and I've got these Dwarf Warriors here doing nothing. My Rune Lord has been beaten up by his Witch Hunter. I have managed to rout his Empire Captain, and this Witch Hunter is very close. Like, these Dragonback Slayers are quite good at dealing with enemy leadership. I'm bringing back my Slayers to fight this Witch Hunter. They'll do a very good job against him. And I'm still, I think, trying to find a way to get these guys. So these guys are online and shooting again. I'm going to try and keep these Outriders routing. And I'm trying to get my Rune Lord away from his darn Witch Hunters so they don't kill me. So I'm just running him back to get him out of the road. These Greatswords are, they're killing my Dwarf Warriors. There's not much I can do about them. But I got my Thane over there fighting them too. I'm trying to get them off the battlefield. He's got his Outriders again here, killing my Dwarf Warriors, which I don't even see. I'm trying to collapse on his Witch Hunter to finish him off. I see some units out here. I'm going to bring them back very shortly. He's going to keep my Rune Lord routing, which is obviously a good idea. My Rune Lord has that magic resistance for map wide, so if he can kill him or keep him routing, that's going to really hurt me. But there's not much I can do against these Outriders. Like, I'm going to bring my units in to try and consolidate everybody. Yeah, he kills my Rune Lord. He's really only got Balthasar Gelt, and I think no one else, really, just some Outriders. So I'm going to consolidate my troops and try and build up my line and get my Rangers. I think I have Rangers to try to shoot at Balthasar Gelt and these Outriders. Yeah, I get them shooting at the Outriders. There's really not a whole lot left. I am going to notice these guys and try and get them back into the fight. I just want to get my troops together, consolidate. My leadership is in good shape, and slowly work down the rest of his troops. At this point, I have a line against anyone who comes back from here with a Thane and 2 Dwarf Warriors. I have my line ready here. I'm going to send my Master Engineer to shoot at Balthasar Gelt, and my Rangers also are going to shoot at Balthasar Gelt. And fortunately, I have lots of Dragonback Slayers left, so there's really not much he can do at this point. But he's going to come in for one last charge, I do believe, because there's no one else is coming back. Everyone else is shattered. So we have victory in our grasp, and there we go. Everyone else flies away. So really fun, close battle. Definitely a Pyrrhic victory. A good way to start the series. Definitely the Rune Lord can handle that final transmutation with his Locust of Power. Definitely made a really big difference. Even with the accusations, did basically nothing to my Rune Lord. We had our Thane. Do all right, and our Master Engineer, I mean, he did okay as well. He got 19 kills. Really helped our organ guns. They got 65 and 63, and these were all high value kills against Reiksguard and Greatswords. He was able to get into these Rangers. They only got 9 kills, but my other Rangers on my right flank got 40 kills. And my Slayers did fantastic, 112 kills and 56. That is the one unit he wasn't able to really focus down, because we were able to keep him pushed out. Like our Dwarf Warriors, I mean, we got 82 kills with these guys, 14 and 19 with our Miners. Those would have been, a lot of them on the charge. Even though they didn't do a whole lot in terms of killing, they stood there and took some shots from the Outriders and made it so the Outriders couldn't really, at the beginning, couldn't easily penetrate my backline, but they got in there eventually. But I don't know if these organ guns paid for themselves or not. It's hard to say. They are a fun artillery piece. For his, Balthasar Gelt got 34 kills. These Witch Hunters, I mean, even though the accusations didn't affect my Rune Lord, their bullets sure did, because they whittled them down really quite easily. And they got 42 and 48 kills on top of them. Those Witch Hunters are quite good. The Empire Captain only got 36. Their Greatswords, they got 13, 60, and 54. So Greatswords are just, they've got a buff. I don't know if they're where they need to be yet for the Empire. They're pretty decent, but I don't know. They're definitely not where they were. They used to be the best pound-for-pound infantry unit in the game when the first game came out. And now they're starting to become a definite choice, I think. But I still don't know if they're where they need to be. They're not bad, though. 60 kills, 54, 13, and they were focused by artillery. These Flagellants didn't do much, only 9 kills, but they were hit by the blasting charges. The Sigmar's Sons, only 36 kills, and the Tattersouls did pretty good at 40 kills. The Reiksguard, we did focus them. They still got 53 and 24. And fortunately, the Outriders, we were able to hold them down to 39 and 31. And they're a fairly cheap unit, so those are still pretty good numbers, even though I did my best to try and hold them down. I had to focus down these Reiksguard first. There's I mean, the Reichsguard are just more powerful, and they got more kills, even though I focused them much harder and much earlier in the game. So great first game in our 3-game matchup. Very close fight against the Empire. Again, if you haven't gone over to Zardar's channel, I'll put a link in the description to his side of this battle, which he will cast as well. And you can click on it and go say hello, and definitely subscribe and stay tuned to his channel. There's definitely some really fun stuff on there. Anyways, hope you liked it, and I'll see you soon.